So I think I mentioned in the last video that I was going to go help my friend on a concrete job, placing and finishing it, and that it would probably kill me because I'm so out of shape. It did kill me. I am speaking to you from beyond the grave. So if I look a little bit blurry, take that into account. Anyway, the job did not go well. Life conspired against us, and it ended up being a lot more work than it should have been. But we got it done thanks to his efforts, because I was kind of pathetic. I was less helpful than I thought I was going to be. But this guy, 64 years old, he can outwork most 24-year-olds. Like, not a problem. So, anyway, all in all, it all worked out in the end. The fun thing was that between driving up there and driving back, we spent 6 hours together in his pickup truck. And it was nice to catch up, nice to talk more than just sort of superficially. Yeah, some good conversations. It was nice. It's been years since we've done something like that. Okay, on to this thing. At least there's a roof. After the work yesterday, I was in no shape to do anything, but I did manage to get this done today anyway. I took some of my dark colors, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and some turpentine, and just refined a few shapes here and there, changed some minor things. And worked on the roof, changed a few things in here as well. I decided to punch a couple of holes in the roof, because I think that just makes it look more interesting and older. These holes that I leave here and these posts sticking out the edges and what have you, I'm going to leave that till later. I wanted the bulk of the roof to be in. So, yeah, some of the shapes are a bit odd. I'm good with that. I want them to be a bit odd. So, they'll be refined a little bit, some of them. Some will be gone once I actually finish it. But the roof is painted in. All it needs now is a few highlights here and there that I will decide once I give myself more information down below on the larger part of the shed. Okay, palette for the roof. Yellow ochre and burnt sienna, and hints of white down here in our most intense area, right? We move to the right, and I begin to add a little bit of ultramarine blue and raw umber in places as we move to the right. And then we go actually from this warm brown to this cooler green. Well, it's actually a fairly warm green, but compared to the brown, it's a little cooler. So we've gone to cobalt blue, yellow ochre, and left out, well, no, we still have a bit of burnt sienna and some titanium white in there. Moving up here, we've dropped the value a little bit, and we're still cobalt blue and yellow ochre, but not too much white. But that's it, in varying degrees in different places. The palette is yellow ochre, burnt sienna, cobalt blue, raw umber, and titanium white. I was not originally intending on painting individual boards, but because it's a fairly large painting, I felt the need to actually qualify it with a lot of shapes of what you would call planks. I don't want to have a plank and a plank and a plank and a plank and a plank. That's just too boring. It's not interesting. And frankly, that's not how we see things anyways. Not on an old shed like this. Which is why I've interrupted them and bent them, take chunks out of them, make odd sweeps. That's why I've done that, because it just keeps the interest in there. I was going to go much more abstract on the roof, but again, I just kind of felt once I got working on it that it's a large enough painting, a large enough area that I would indicate in a certain number of ways that yes, of course, there are these planks of wood on the roof, but not everywhere. And sometimes I want a little bit of head scratching to go on. our sky sort of dives down like this, I don't mind opposing it with a line that goes across like this. Indicated line, right? Suggested line. Not connected line, just suggested. Anyway, the roof is going to get more work, but again, it's one of those things that I don't have to worry about that. It's another one of those great things that I don't have to worry about. Alright, maybe what I'll do, oh actually yeah, and now it's kind of funny because I think the last video I painted this in, and then I thought, okay, that's about as strong as I dare to go, that's about as high a value as I dare to go on the edge of the painting. But now that we have this in place, and once we have this in place, I know I'm going to want to touch these slats in the fence with a higher value, you know, show a little more sun sort of shining on them. The sky I'm ignoring. I'd probably ignore it to the end of the painting now, because the sky, I can use the sky to change the balance of the painting a little bit. I can use the sky for many things. The sky is a very forgiving element in a painting, or in this painting certainly. So I'll leave that for later. But we sort of have this, you know, our light coming down onto the roof. This is the most intense red area, but we're going to catch some light here as well. So we're going to have some fairly strong red here as well. Now the foreground is going to be catching a slice of this light as well on the right hand side. I might even let it run off the painting, sliding across here and fading off again. So we'll have, you know, intensity, 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 less intensity, pretty good intensity here yet, quite strong, and then fading off to the left. It's funny how when you as you develop your painting, you can pull things this way or this way or this way or this way, and that is all regardless of where you placed your lines. Because once you have your lines in place, that's great. You need to have a reasonable composition, but after that, it's where you lay your light and your higher values, right, which is light, and your higher chromas, which is intensity of color. You still have that ability to move the focal area or the focal point around by using those tools. I'll just do a zooming here. If I can get up. My muscles are so sore, it's ridiculous. I'll do a little zooming here and just zoom in on that. See that bit of fence just by itself seems to catch some light. Until you look here. And that's even going to be more intense in some areas, you know, upon completion of the painting. But I'll just zoom in here. Show you some of the brush strokes. It's not that there's a huge palette that's used for it, it's that every stroke has a few different colors in it, or a few different values in it, keeping each individual brush stroke important. And trying to provide some interesting shapes, you know. This painting is, I'm sort of stealing it from another painting that I did, but that painting was only 16 by 20, and I was able to do a very simple roof on that one. This one needs more thought, so I've had to sort of think up new designs in the roof. And if you're copying a photograph of something, those designs are pretty much set in place for you. But if you're just trying to come up with it out of your imagination, it takes a little more thought. So, there we sit. I'm really glad that at least I got that done. See you soon, guys.